on the new BBS CIR Unlimited series. The Unlimited series uses an adapter type setup. So these wheels could be used on multiple different cars just based on the offset, the bolt pattern. We've got a multitude of different options. So this right here is the CIR. It's the same style wheel as it was before, but now we have all of the unlimited components, lug bolts, adapters. Let's see here. Hub rings, everything needed. So we're gonna run you through how to do the install on these proper, because there are a couple little tricks and tips that you wanna follow when installing these on a car. All right, so as you can see here, we have a multitude of different components for the BBS Unlimited. Never mind, doesn't say it on there. This is a 23 millimeter adapter. This one here is 20 millimeter. So these are gonna go on the front. The offset on the wheel is predetermined. These are what's going to change your offset or your bolt pattern. Every wheel is 5/117. Now these going on a Tesla are going to be 5/114.3 on a Model 3 or Model Y. Here we have a Model 3. Obviously a Model S is 5/120 just like a Model X. So if that were the case, we'd have a different spacer adapter that has a 5/120 bolt pattern. So we have two different sets of hub rings here. We've got a hub ring that makes the adapter hub centric onto the vehicle. And we have another one that makes the adapter hub centric to the wheel. Now, the one that goes from the wheel to the adapter, you want to put it in the wheel first. The reason being, there's no stopping point here. So it's going to be very hard to center. I'm not going to say there's no way to do it, but it's going to be difficult to center this in here proper if you try to put it in here first. You want to clip that into the wheel. You can see these clips here. Put that into your wheel first. That way when you put it up here, it's going to go in exactly where it needs to go and center up proper. So we also have two different lug nuts, lug bolts here. Because this car uses studs, we've got these lug nuts that are going to fasten the adapter onto the vehicle. And all of your wheels are going to be using lug bolts to hold the wheel onto the adapter. So if it's a lug nut car, you're still going to have a lug bolt holding the wheel onto the adapter. This is your socket here. Now they have titanium, they have black, and I think they have zinc as well. So those are your three options on these particular bolts that are going to fasten the wheel onto the adapter. The other thing that they have is about 10 or so different options for your center caps. They're gonna come with a standard center cap. This is going to be black and silver. If you wanna upgrade, depending on the cap, it's about $100 to $150 depending on the style. If this is gold, if it's 3D, like I said, there's a few different options there. So it's unlimited, folks. That's all you need to know. Let me tell you folks why rotations, actually I don't even need to tell you, just look at the tires. This is what happens when you don't rotate your tires. It's especially important on a lot of electric cars because they have so much torque, and as you can see here, their camber, which has very little or no adjustment unless you're buying aftermarket arms. But you can see here this tire probably has still about 75%, 80% tread, and this thing's completely smoked. So be tire smart, rotate your tires. Once the wheel and tire is mounted properly, you have all your components now to install the wheel and tire assembly onto the vehicle. Step one should be this right here, folks. This is called anti-seize. You want to make sure that you're putting anti-seize on your hub pilot before you're installing any spacers, any hub rings. Otherwise, what's going to happen is one day you're going to want to remove these and you're going to be screwed because it's going to be frozen, basically welded onto the hub, and it's going to be a real nightmare. So I always put anti-seize on the hub pilot before I install, and even just installing the wheel and tire assembly, you want to make sure you're using anti-seize. This one's nice and fresh and clean, so I didn't have to actually clean it off, but a wire wheel anti-seize will save you a lot of headaches in the future. But the problem is, most of the time, it's some other guy setting you up for failure because they didn't do it right and they don't see the car again. However, I do it proper, I suggest you do too. So, here we have the 23 millimeter adapter for the rear. The offset on the wheel is 64. We're gonna run a 41 millimeter offset on this 20 by 10 and a half. That's where this comes into play. So, like I said, you've got an adapter, you've got a hub ring to make the adapter hub centric onto the hub pilot, and this one has the cut for the Tesla Performance that has a step. I'm sure most of you probably are aware by now that it has that step on there, so you have to make sure that it's a proper ring. Obviously BBS knows their shit. So you want to put this onto the vehicle, make sure it's sitting flush. See, it's on there nice and flush now. Let me just interrupt here for a second, folks, because I should have removed that hub ring off the vehicle after testing it to make sure that it cleared that Tesla hub. It should go in the adapter spacer first. So hub ring, wheel first, hub ring, spacer first, then bolt up on the vehicle. As you see in the picture here, you can see the hub ring there and the hub ring there. That's how it should be done. So now we can put this on. Obviously these have to be sticking out. You don't want them facing in, you want them facing out. They fit into the back of the wheel that kind of locks itself in there. So we're gonna put this on here. Oh, and you don't have to bother taking that off because that's gonna line up here. So get this guy up here. It's gonna fit snug. You might have to give it a couple little hits. Now you've got your open end lugs that we're gonna screw on here. Hold up, let me get this freaking anti-seize off my hands. You ever seen that Kanye West meme where he's dressed in a silver suit and it's like after touching anti-seize once? Yeah, that's about what it's like. So we get this on here. I like to use this just to zip it down. Do your star pattern. Torque star pattern. Now you want to do a circle. I usually do 2 just to be safe. All right. Now you can put this, oh, excuse me. Next step. This is the hub ring that goes into the wheel. So this one fits nice and snug. So if you can see that there, you want to make sure that's flush all the way around. And like I said, once it's in here, it'll stop where it needs to stop, so you don't have to worry about putting it in here and getting it centered. So that locks in there. You've got your key here, your lugs. Give it a couple turns by hand. that way you're not cross-threading. Same thing here, you can zip it on with a gun. Just do a nice light star pattern. Make sure everything seats into place right. You're not forcing anything on. Another star pattern. Now if you want, you can do a circle just to double check that you don't get any concerning movement. Nothing should really move at this time. They should torque down with pretty much zero movement. And then if you want, what I do is I go drive the car around, bring it back, torque them again, and you're good to go. And that's BBS Unlimited by Ice Performance, the Match Mount King, AKA Tire Professor. So here we have a completed Tesla Model 3, BBS CIR Unlimiteds in satin bronze with Hankook Ventus V12 Evo 2 tires. We went 20 by 9.5 in the front and 20 by 10.5 on the rear. As you can see, it looks phenomenal. The wheels are top-notch quality, cast flow form wheels, not like the Wuhan bullshit though, actually done proper. Starting with engineering to the right ingot, that's your aluminum that they use in a cast wheel, to a proper flow forming process. Not just flow form to say flow form to sell you something and upcharge you and try to claim that it's almost like forged. It's the real deal, folks. It's BBS, no less. That's right, folks. It's BBS.